how's it going? It's Jamie, the crafty DIY guy. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're doing some Dollar Tree DIYs that are super easy, and all of them have a very cool Father's Day feel to them. Now, if you have that special guy in your life, maybe he's the father to your children, or maybe he's your father, these are some cool projects that you could make and give to him for Father's Day. Also, what's cool about all of these projects is that they're super transitional. You could literally change up the paint colors or the styling on them, and they could easily fit within farmhouse or modern or any kind of design aesthetic that you might like. Before we get into those projects though, I do want to say thank you to all of my subscribers across the board. Everybody's equal now, and I just want to say thank you. If you guys have been with me for a long time, then of course I appreciate you as well. If you're brand new to the channel, maybe you're a newbie, thank you as well. And if YouTube happened to recommend this video, maybe you will stick around and become a subscriber as well. I would love that. And let's get into the projects. Right, everyone, and for project number one, we're going to take one of these award cones. These are found kind of in the teacher / like education section, and we're going to take 8 of these Jenga blocks. The first thing I'm going to do is take my Jenga blocks, and I'm going to glue 2 of them together end to end, and I'm going to do a total of 4 of these double sets. So hopefully that makes sense. When you are doing this, you want to make sure that you're using a wood glue is really ideal. Here I'm just using a hot glue because it's kind of quick and it's really just for the purpose of the DIY. If I were doing this for a long-term usage, then I would definitely use wood glue or possibly even super glue. When you are gluing those together too, you want to make sure that they're laying nice and flat. You want to make sure that everything that you are gluing together is going to have a nice straight edge to it. Sometimes those Jenga blocks come out and they are not very quality controlled sometimes in the factory at Dollar Tree or wherever they're made at Santa's workshop, and you may end up getting some crooked ones. So just keep that in mind when you're putting them together, and when you're done you'll have 4 that look like this. Now the next thing I'm going to do is take my cone, and I'm actually going to spray paint it. I'm doing this in my basement, and that's kind of why you don't see the pretty backyard or anything. It's actually raining outside, so I had to DIY, and I am going to spray paint this downstairs. So that's what I'm doing right now, and I am just going to let that side dry, and then I'm going to flip it over and spray paint the other side as well. Now while that is out there drying or down there drying, I'm going to take the Jenga blocks and I'm just going to rub some antiquing wax from Waverly on here. I love working with this stuff, and I love the coverage. I love everything about it. I usually just use a rag of some kind, like I've got in my hand there, and I will literally just start rubbing and getting the color. The one thing I do love about these Jenga blocks is because they are not made equally, and the wood grains and everything are very different. You're going to get a very we'll call it an eclectic look for all of those pieces. And once I've got everything dried, then I am going to go ahead and just pop a heat gun on it real quick just to help speed up that drying process. And now that the glue has dried on everything, it is time to go ahead and add my succulents. I have one of those moss-colored rocks down in the center of the cone right now. And now I'm just going to take another one of those rocks. I'm going to poke a hole in it with my paintbrush, and I'm going to add some hot glue into that hole because I'm actually using one of these succulents that typically has that clip on the bottom of it. I just removed the clip. I'm going to save that for another project. And then I'm going to set this up, and I'm going to let it dry. And it's a little drunk, so it's going to fall over on me. And now it's pretty hard, so we're just going to go ahead and plant it. And I'm going to take some of my rocks, probably not that one, that was a little big, and we are just going to kind of fill in that space and make sure that those rocks help hold that succulent in place. Now I'm going to add this little trailing succulent that just gives it some character, and I think that this is super cute. It's very industrial looking. I think you could easily spray paint this white or another color, and it could very easily be a farmhouse thing. I think it's just super cute. I love the way this looks, and I love the detail, and it's also just something that's very unique and super unexpected. My next project is going to use one of these large wooden signs that you can get at your local Dollar Tree, and about 10 to 12 clothespins, just kind of depending on what your personal style is. I'm also going to remove this label, which is going to prove to be challenging because it's a Dollar Tree label. You guys know that these can be a problem sometimes. I'm going to take my heat gun and actually just kind of heat that label up, and then it peels off pretty easily. Now for the clothespins, I'm going to show you a cool trick that I learned. I take a large Ziploc bag. I add some water to it, just a little bit of water. I also add some of this RIT dye, or RIT dye, I'm not sure exactly how you say it. And I am going to put it into my Ziploc bag. I'm going to shake it, mix it all up, and then I'm going to add those clothespins in there. And I am going to take those clothespins and just kind of toss around that liquidy dye. I'm using a brown dye, I think you saw that. And as you can see, it starts to darken up. I did add a little bit more dye to this, and I am just going to shake and bake. Not bake, but, you know, shake around those clothespins and get those nice and covered. And then I did take them to my sink and I drained it. I rinsed everything off, and this is the result that you get. Now I'm just going to dab off any of the excess water. And as you can see, they give a really, really cool effect. And you can do this with any color dye that you might have. And I love the way that this looks. It just gives it kind of a old, kind of like a reclaimed wood kind of a feel, because you've got some darker areas, you've got some lighter areas. I just love the effect that using this dye does, and it's actually a pretty easy cleanup. Now to help speed this along, I am going to take my heat gun and I'm just going to go over all of my clothespins and just make sure that those are nice and dry and smooth and flat and dry. I'm going to flip them over and turn them around. Now for this wood plank, I'm still painting downstairs in the basement. I am just going to use my flat black Rust-Oleum spray paint here that I love so much. I'm going to go over that one side twice, and then I am going to flip it over and do the other side as well. That way everything is completely covered in black. Once that has dried, I did take it inside, and now I'm going to space out my clothespins. For me, I'm going to do my clothespins starting about 1 inch out on that left side, and then I'm going to have them every 2 inches. So once I kind of have a visual idea, or at least a visual feel for the way it's going to lay out and look, then I'm going to take some of my hot glue and I'm just going to start gluing these clothespins down. Now, once again, if you want something that's going to be a little more sturdy, I definitely recommend using like an E6000, again, just for the sake of the video and for keeping it moving, and also because I'm not really hanging a lot of really heavy items on this. The hot glue is actually going to work fine, and that hot glue, by the way, is a hot glue that is made for wood. So these will adhere and hold really, really nicely. I use this hot glue all the time. You can get it from Surebonder. Now, after I did have everything aligned and all the clothespins in place, I did flip this over and I added some hardware to the back. This hardware is actually left over from some Dollar Tree signs. All I did was just screw them right back into the backing, and that provides a very nice way for me to hang this up on the wall. And as you can see, it is the perfect kind of men's valet station for holding, you know, chains, necklaces, bracelets. Ladies, of course, you can actually use this yourself. I think that it would be really fun if you painted it different colors. I think you could even adjust the clothespins, maybe group more of them close together, some of them farther apart, depending on how big your accessories might be. But for me, this was perfect, and I absolutely love the way that this turned out. It's going to be extremely handy. I'm very excited about this next DIY because I love the way that this turned out. I'm going to be using 6 of these drawers that I picked up from Dollar Tree. I actually lucked out and grabbed the last 6 that were in my store. These have been very, very hard to find. And now I have these wood squares. These are actually from Amazon. I do have them linked below for you if you want to get them. They are 5-inch squares, and they are the perfect size to cover this entire cube station. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually remove all the drawers because I don't want these to kind of be interfered. And now I'm just going to glue these together. Once again, just using hot glue because it's quicker for the video. If you did want to make this more sturdy and have some life with this, I highly recommend that you use an E6000, perhaps even the E6000 Quick Hold. Even super glue would work really well for this. And for these, I'm just going to be adding some hot glue right to those kind of raised levels. And then I am going to add some in the corners as well. And we are going to glue the 6 boxes together. Then they will look like this when they're all done. So I glued them on top of each other, and then I glued the 3 and the 3 together side by side. Now for these wood squares, I want to show you how perfect these are. These are going to fit so good across the top, and they also fit perfectly along the sides as well. Again, these are 5-inch square pieces that I picked up on Amazon. You can get these pretty inexpensively, and I have to say I've used just about every single one that I've purchased. They take the antiquing wax and regular stain and paint really, really well. You don't have to pre-sand them or anything like that. I'm just taking my antiquing wax, I'm just going to apply it with a brush, and then I'm going to do my cloth and just kind of rub everything around and make sure that I've got good coverage. I did this on all 8 of my squares, and I also did it on the front and the back sides because at the time of doing this, I wasn't exactly sure if I was going to paint my clear kind of drawer system or not. But as you will see, I do end up painting it. I took it downstairs to the basement once again, and it is ventilated down there, by the way, so no worries down there. But I am taking these and I am going to spray paint them with my flat black to give this kind of an industrial feel, which is definitely, as you guys know, my aesthetic, my design. I do a lot of stuff that I reuse in my own home, so I'm going to make it to go with my house. The thing I love about this, though, is that you could very easily turn this into something that is perfect for yourself. I've seen kind of a glam version of this done with mirrors on the side. I bet you could even do this in white, or, you know, keep those drawers clear and maybe stain the wood a lighter color. There's so many different options that you can do with this, and I really love this. So now, after my antiquing wax and my paint are all dry, it is time to go ahead and start assembling. Now, these wood pieces have some unique grains to them as well, so I'm going to try and find 2 pieces for the top that have a very similar grain. And as you can see here, there's some similar lines and veinings in the wood there. And all I'm going to do is take these. Now, for the top pieces, you will just add a little bit of hot glue in the middle there. Yeah, I know, that's a little more than a little. And then you're going to add glue into the 4 corners. And then once you do that, you will see that they line up perfectly. And then for the back side, go ahead and also do the same thing. And literally, you're just repeating this on all sides of your drawer system, except for the front, of course. Now, I did have some black beads that were already painted, so I didn't have to worry about that. And I'm actually going to add those to the bottom. So I have some little feet for my little jewelry box valet thing that I'm creating here. And as you can see, when it's all done, it is so cute. I love the way that this turned out. It is the perfect place to hold my watches and rings and jewelry and chapstick and hand lotion and all kinds of great things. And what I really love about this is that it goes so perfectly with that mirror on my dresser here. How cool is this? I love that mirror that I made a long time ago in a DIY video. And again, everything looks so perfect together, and it is a great place to stash all of my goodies. Hey, it's Jamie again. I hope that you enjoyed these projects. If you did, leave me a comment below. Let me know what your favorites are. And also be sure to follow me on all the social medias. I am now on TikTok, Pinterest, Facebook, Twitter, of course, YouTube, and Instagram. All right, guys, take care. Bye.